Hi, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of How to Build Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Rod Khleif, and I'm thrilled that you're here, and you are going to love the ball of fire that I'm interviewing today. Her name's Megan Lamke, and she's the CEO and managing partner of her namesake company, Megan Lamke Real Estate, meganlamke.com. And she actually has her own podcast, Business for Good podcast, and she does impact investing. She gives 50% of her freaking salary to nonprofit organizations. And so she and I are new best friends. And I'm super excited to dig into a wide-ranging conversation with her. Megan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rod. It's such an honor to be here. I'm so excited to connect with you and talk more.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And you, before we started recording, you said you suffered through one of my boot camps and you're doing the goal setting. Well, I'll tell you what, before we go there, tell us your story. Talk about your story first and how you got to having over 2,200 doors and almost $500 million in assets. I forgot to mention that, guys. Forgive me. So anyway, let's talk about how you got to where you are right now, and then we'll go back to suffering through me.
No problem. So 6 years ago, my husband and I were going through marriage preparation classes, and one of the things that was recommended was getting together on our finances. So we went through Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University and got really serious about paying off our personal debt so that one day we can make a huge impact. Growing up, both of our parents struggled financially. We came from really humble means. My parents declared bankruptcy when I was young, and we lost everything. So at 10 years old, I picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and my whole life I've been trying to buy greenhouses and change them into red hotels. So we went through that class, paid off $535,000 in under 5 years, including our mortgage, and over $200,000 worth of student loans. Yes, I got my MBA. Yes, it was super expensive. So then we turned around and said, hey, we've been house hacking our only house, our primary residence, with 6 of our rugby teammates and family members. We convinced them to help us renovate it. We became accidental BRRRR investors, and we looked around and said, we don't have a mortgage payment anymore. We have great high-paying salaries. We want to start a family. What should we do now? Like, do we buy additional greenhouses and try and scale up? Or do we just skip the whole thing, sell our house, use all the equity to passively invest in multifamily syndications, and just have the red house right away? And that's what we did. So we sold our house and passively invested in multifamily syndications. I quit all of my side hustles because I was teaching CrossFit and kickboxing before work, going to my corporate sales job and marketing automation job, and then bartending at night, rinse and repeat for 5 years. Then left all those things because of our passive investments, quit my corporate job, and decided to start my real estate company in April 1st, 2019. And that's when I started doing a bunch of mindset and hanging out with people who are where I want to be, like Rod. And so I went to his boot camp and really was super intentional about goal setting and visualization, incantations, affirmations, and literally surrounded myself with some of the highest, best, and most successful people in this industry and said, hey, it looks like your investor relationship experience and user experience could be a lot better. My background is in marketing automation and software as a service sales for fast-growing tech companies like Apple. Can I be a part of your general partnership if I help you fix this user experience?
So let me stop you. Let me stop you for 1 second because you're moving really quick, and I don't want people to miss what you just said. Guys, what we're going to talk about now is what you need to be thinking about for yourselves, okay? And that is this multifamily business is a team sport, and we all have superpowers that we can bring to this business. And so what Megan did was identify the fact that she's incredible in the marketing automation side of things. And so I just want to just put a little exclamation mark on what you just said. So you went to other successful operators, syndicators, and said, hey, how can I help you, right? How can I help you automate what you're doing? All right, please continue from there. You were going so quick. I didn't want people to miss that huge point.
So I said, how can I help you? This is my corporate background. Here's my resume. Here's my experience. Here's my passive investments. What can I do to help? And most of them took me up on the offer, wrote me into the general partnership, and I created an evergreen tech solution for them to continue to use and raise capital super, super fast, which is so awesome and rewarding. And so from there, quit my corporate job and took down syndications on my own. And it's been a whirlwind for the past 2 years ever since. So
fantastic. Yeah. So again, guys, think about what your superpower is. Is it relationships? Maybe you bring that to a team. Is it operations after the fact for asset management? Maybe you bring that to the team. Maybe it's the analysis. That's where I need the most help. Bring that to a team. And when you do, and maybe it's raising money, maybe you've got a good network, you're connected with high net worth individuals in the IT space or engineering space or medical space, and you bring that to a team. So there's so many ways that you can add value to a team that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That there's lots of wheels rolling around all over the place that you can add value to, like Megan did here. So awesome freaking story. So let's drill down on marketing automation.
Yeah.
Talk about what that means. Talk about what you did for some of these people, and of course that you do for yourself. If you would, please.
So the biggest thing that you do is you need to pick a tech stack that's consistent. You need to have everything in one centralized repository. Where most entrepreneurs go wrong is they'll get a fractional system. They'll have HubSpot and then MailChimp and then SurveyMonkey and ActiveCampaign, and then they might try and scale and get Salesforce or something like that. You need a platform that has everything in one spot so you can tell when you're generating a marketing lead, what that person is getting all the way through their customer journey, and then how much revenue or how much money they're investing in each deal, and what their user experience has been like after becoming an investor. Because that's the whole picture, soup to nuts, how you tell where should I apply more marketing dollars, more sales dollars, more human capital, more employees to go do that over and over and over again. So for us, we use ActiveCampaign because we can track all of our sales leads in one centralized place. It's super simple. We use it for all of our marketing. Again, it's a robust system. And they have so many free tutorial videos on YouTube. That's why I wanted to make sure that we picked a tech stack that could be used by our virtual assistants or literally any single person on our team or any single person I was working with. Is ActiveCampaign has done an awesome job at creating educational content and have pulled together really great forums.
So ActiveCampaign. Now, we use HubSpot, and it does the same. Yeah, it
does the same thing.
Yeah. And so, talk. I mean, on a more granular level, kind of walk us through the customer journey, maybe in your platform. How do they come in the top of the funnel, and then what do they experience? What should they experience as they travel through your funnel, as it were, for lack of a better word?
Yeah. So today we have about 21 different ways that people get added to our funnel. For example, pay-per-click advertising, SEO, organic search, speaking on podcasts, me hosting podcasts, speaking at events, sponsoring events, buying lists from family offices, showing up at charity and philanthropic events and connecting with other investors, from friends and family to people who are downloading our ebook. The list goes on and on. Like there's ultimately so many ways that you can.
Well, let's hone in on, say, pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click, perfect.
Okay.
So pay-per-click, what you do is you're doing a list of keywords. You're figuring out what your ideal avatar is searching for and how to show up when they're putting those keywords in. So you really need to do that post-mortem exercise first before you spend any money on pay-per-click, because you need to see where have your top investors come from, what have they liked about investing with you and what was their user experience like, and survey them to get that result. You don't know what you're trying to build or what you're trying to duplicate until you survey your investors and the ones that know, like, and trust you. You also need to survey the ones that have had a horrible experience to make sure you're not duplicating that again. So then once you have all of that data, then you show up and you say, here's who my avatar is. Here's who I'm trying to attract more of. Here's what their struggles are, what's keeping them up at night, and go buy pay-per-click advertising around that messaging, around those keywords. And then
now you're talking just Google or other social platforms as well?
Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We do a lot of cross marketing with webhooks. I don't know how much you want me to get into the weeds. I'm really geek out about this.
Just briefly talk about what a webhook is, and then I don't know if you've got a lead magnet. Explain what that is as well. So you said a free book. So talk about that for a moment, because this is helpful, guys. Obviously, guys, if you're going to raise money for deals, we live in the greatest time on earth, as it were, to do that and create reach. I mean, my podcast, 11 million downloads, YouTube watched for 40,000 hours last year, Facebook group with 40,000 people in it. I mean, these are things that were unthinkable when I first started in this business. So you've got incredible opportunities, but you've got to figure out how to capture their information in these different areas. So one of the expressions is a lead magnet, where you give something away for free. I give tons of books away for free. And you were talking about yours. What is a webhook? Speak to that for a moment.
So a webhook is when an anonymous person from an IP address comes to visit your website, and then you tag that IP address and then pay for advertising to follow them all over
it's called retargeting.
It's called retargeting. Right. Using that webhook, and then you're progressively filling out their customer information. So maybe the first time they come to your website, they're just giving you their email address, and then you're building upon that and you're getting their name, and then you're building upon that and you're getting maybe their mailing address to send them a thank you card or a free gift. And you're just continuing to cultivate that relationship until you have the information you need and you've moved further down the funnel, where they know, like, trust you, find you credible, and they want to get more information about investing in one of your opportunities.
Well, so let's talk about how they know, like, and trust you. So guys, what you have to do, and this is what I teach my students, I teach this at my boot camps, because we have these incredible resources to create reach. There are two keys to this. One key is you have to be consistent if you're going to go out there. But the second key is you add value. You add educational content. You like we do in these podcasts, like you can do in a meetup group, like you can do with social, with articles that I post on Forbes and elsewhere. And so this is what we're talking about here. Yes, Megan?
It's exactly it. Yep. And the key again is consistency. So Rod does an awesome job at pumping out newsletters, pumping out content. Like, he is everywhere. It's scheduled. You can also use automation tools like Buffer to sit down and block your time. This is another one of the skills that I learned from Rod, is you want to be in the highest and best use of your time and group like ideas. So if you're going to come up with all of your social media posts, do it for 3 months in advance, put them in Buffer, which is a free service, schedule out all that social media and the first comment. And all you have to do is engage, or hire a virtual assistant to engage with you, and you can elevate yourself out and back into the CEO role in your business.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Do you use a VA for this, or do you have a employee here domestically?
Both and. So because of my tech background, I have literally automated as much as humanly possible. And then we use a combination of virtual assistants all over the world.
Nice. Yeah, us as well. Okay. So just to further discuss this a little bit, a lot of people, you wrote a book. What's your book called, and what's it about? Is it about the benefits of passive investing? Did you do what?
No, it's actually, I found out going into this space, I'm a millennial woman, and I would show up in this space. I'm the only girl or the only woman in the room a lot of the times. And so I would feel trepidatious about asking the big, hairy, audacious questions. So finally, I just wrote them all down and was like, here, let me give this out to the universe, because there's more women out there that are asking these same questions and don't know where to find the answers. So what's
the title of the book?
Yeah. So I wrote the Lead Hers Guide to Investing.
Lead Hers, Hers.
HERS.
Oh, I love it for women. I love
For
that.
women.
You know, we've had some dynamic women on the show, and I've got quite a few in my mastermind as well that are just rock stars with thousands of doors. And I love the fact that women are so supportive. Most of them have some initiatives around raising awareness to get more women into this business. So I absolutely love that. Okay, so let's see. Where do I want to take this? So
Do you want me to finish answering where people go once you have a webhook?
Oh yeah, please. Thank you.
So once you attract them at the very top of your funnel, then you're going to continue to nurture the relationship. And so in my business, we segment people out based on avatar. So that predictive analytics where they're continuing to give you little nudges about who they are as a person. So you know what messaging and what bucket to put them in.
So hold on, let me stop you there. Sorry. So how do you do that? Let's talk about the how.
So
okay? how do you segment them?
Yeah. So how you do that is as people are coming in, as they're filling out a form fill, you have hidden fields about where they came in from or their gender. So in my business, I designate between men and women. I designate between married and single, widower, divorced. I designate between they have kids or they don't have kids, because every single one of those personality types and avatars have different things that resonate with them, different whys, different passions. And I want to make sure I'm aligning the right message with the person.
How do you get that information though? Are you asking them if they're married, they have kids, or how are you getting that information?
Yeah. So some of it is proactively done as people are investing with us. So then we make sure that we take our investor portal and marry it up with Active Campaign. So when you're signing a subscription doc, you say, hey, I'm married, because in some states your spouse has to sign off that you're investing. Or we also do really fun things like scraping data and using using skip tracing to on like white pages and Seamless AI and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn to figure out, do they have kids? Are they married? And our VAs help with a lot of that research. So again, we're coming up with super targeted messaging for each person.
Okay. So once you get that information, what next?
So once you get that information, you provide like super sticky information that answers the questions and provides solutions to what's keeping them up at night and what are their biggest motivators, or what's their why behind why would they ever do this. And you show up as, hey, you want to spend more time with your kids. This is how you get there. You passively invest in real estate syndication. So you're identifying the need, you're providing the solution, and they're like, man, if I work with Rod, it solves all my problems.
Yeah, right. Or more importantly, Megan. Yeah, more importantly, Megan.
Yeah.
And we do the same thing. In the thought leadership business, we'll send out a survey and say, and we'll ask, what's keeping you up at night? And I will tell you how people respond is marketing gold. When you ask questions like that, and you then phrase your marketing in the same, with the same words, even the same phrasing, it's very, very powerful. And of course, you can do this with investors. That whole avatar dynamic is very, very important. You need to know who you're marketing to, and so and where do they live? Are they on TikTok or Instagram, or are they really more on LinkedIn and Facebook? And thinking about where you're going to get in front of them the most. You're not shooting, sorry about the analogy. So you're not shooting with a shotgun, you're shooting with a rifle, right?
Right.
Honing in your marketing.
Or if they live in Texas, for example, and they're an investor and Texas just lost all of their power, we can use Active Campaign to send a text message saying, hey, we're thinking about you. We're praying for you. Please let us know how we can help you. We love you. You're important to us. We care about you. We're here for you. That type of human interaction touch, that's where businesses really scale and grow, is in high technology, high touch, and compassion. Nice.
So, are you, obviously you're doing this with your podcast. One of the big ways, excuse me, still getting over COVID. One of the big ways to create reach, that we just talked about, is adding value. So besides the podcast, are there any other ways that you're adding value to create this reach and or well, really to create reach or to add value to your existing, email client list?
Yeah, so we're huge in the impact investing world.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So everything that we do, every acquisition that we have, every monthly distribution we have, a portion of that goes to help different organizations all over the world. So we work with a nonprofit organization called venture.org, where they go in and rescue women and children as young as 2 years old from being sold into sex trafficking in Southeast Asia, and then create mental health resources. We provide education. Together, we actually wrote in 2020 a curriculum to teach financial management and help these women and children get an education and become entrepreneurs. So now I hire those entrepreneurs or those educated women to be my virtual assistants in my company.
Oh,
so it's just like this continuous.
So freaking cool. Oh my God. I mean, I got goosebumps. That is so freaking cool. Guys, listen, if you're listening, power moves to those who serve. When I interview people for my Warrior Mentorship Program, I always ask them what their why is. And if I hear a why that's outside of them, like what Megan is describing here, I know success is inevitable. And that's just the way it works. And, and the other thing is, if you've ever heard me tell my story about building that $8 million house on the beach that I worked for 20 years, and within 2 months I was depressed because I was unfulfilled. I was totally focused on me. And that's when I started feeding families. And so let me say this to you, if you haven't heard me say this before, you might be thinking that you have to achieve to be happy. If you incorporate giving back right now, if you're saying to yourself, I'll do it when I have money, big mistake. Because if you incorporate giving back right now, you will be happily achieving and you'll get there much faster. Okay. Now you don't do it for that reason, but that's just the way God, the universe, whatever you believe works. What you get back 100-fold. So give back now. Pick a passion. I don't care if it's, for you, it's helping these poor women in the sex trafficking. If it's children, if it's the elderly, if it's the environment, if it's animals, whatever it is that juices you, figure out how to give back to it right now, and you will be happily achieving, and you'll get there much faster. You agree, Megan?
Oh, I agree 100%. And that's what makes life worth living, worth continuing. It's not about how much can I hold on to with a clenched fist. Like for me, it's how much can I give away? Like we're blessed to be a blessing. Like how many lives can I impact? Like our big, hairy, audacious goals now. I mean, I'm just going to be really vulnerable and share them. Like how can we rescue 1 million women in the next 5 years so sex trafficking is not a problem anymore? We've created enough economic change to do that. And that's why I love Venture is they literally have so many different injustice causes, and they give you all the marketing material to incorporate this in our business like for free. So that's why I just love them so much is they're a awesome. True nonprofit partner. And those are the type of people that you want to work for or work with and incorporate into your business.
To help. Because you're helping, not only you're making the world a better place, guys, we've got two hands, one to pull ourselves up, one to pull someone else up below us. Contribution is a basic human need. And frankly, if you're not contributing, you're slowly dying. And that's just the truth of it. And when you want to ramp your success in anything, give back. And that's just how it works. So what haven't I asked you that you wish I had, Megan? Because, you're kind of a unique guest for me.
Yeah, I'm this mythical unicorn kind of a guest.
As you see it, so shall it be. I love it.
Yeah. I love it. I don't know. I mean, I think the big misnomer that I hear all the time or get asked all the time is, Megan, how in the world do you afford to give away so much? Because of what you're doing. Like, how do you structure that? So just to add value to your listeners, I'm going to tell you, like, my husband and I set our budget. We live off of $50,000 a year. Like, that's it. Everything else is overflow and goes into investments or our donor advised fund. And our donor advised fund, because of who we work with, they're called impact assets. They're amazing. They're free. You can invest donor advised funds through impact assets into multifamily syndications. So literally we just have our money keep printing money, and every single nonprofit we work with gets part of our donor advised fund, and then that gets reinvested in our syndications to earn more returns than what they do in the market. And anybody can do this. I'm not some mythical unicorn. I just asked so many questions and enough of the right questions and surrounded myself with amazing teachers, mentors like Rod to pour into my life and help me get where I needed to go and help me see what the possibilities were.
Love it. Freaking love it. So let me ask you this. Got a lot of people that haven't pulled the trigger yet, that haven't come to my boot camp, haven't done anything. Maybe they're caught in analysis paralysis. I get a lot of analytical people, and I love you, but you got to take action. I gave you a possible answer, but you can certainly give them another one.
Yeah.
What words of wisdom would you share with an aspiring commercial real estate investor, somebody that knows they need to do this? Maybe they haven't taken action out of fear. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, it's ironic. I get that question quite a bit. And my husband was that person. He's super analytical. He has 3 engineering degrees and a math minor. This man wanted certainty and had analysis paralysis. And so what we did as a partnership, and what I encourage people who are that analytical person to do, is actually just start passively investing in syndications, because you will learn so much more from that. And you'll have cash flow in, and that will build your confidence. So then when you're writing a check and scheduling your time to do a boot camp, you're actually being more effective because you've gotten some sort of skin in the game, and you've freed your calendar up enough because you have additional passive income coming in where you don't have to work overtime for your engineering career. You don't have to hustle at your IT job for month end, quarter end, customer success. You're not working 70, 80 hours a week because you have that passive income in. And then buy a boot camp or schedule it with your monthly calendar. Rod does an awesome job at telling you when all of his boot camps are 12 months in advance. Put them on your family calendar. This is a non-negotiable. It's gold time. You don't get this back. It's the biggest limiting resource in the world is how you're choosing to spend your time. And if you're not investing it in yourself as an entrepreneur, as someone who's trying to become an entrepreneur, if you're not investing it in building a business that can eject your family from the rat race, what in the world are you doing? I'm on a rant, so go ahead.
No, listen, even if it's not with me, just for God's sakes, get started. Go learn this, go to YouTube University if you have to, whatever you have to do to get going.
Right.
All right. Last question.
Yeah.
What's your definition of success?
So my definition of success is disrupting an industry for good. So prioritizing people, the planet, and profits on purpose for the betterment of the world. So disrupting the industry, disrupting human trafficking so that it's no longer an issue. I'm an agent for change, and that's how I define success. I told you I went to your boot camp. I told you.
I don't think anybody could have answered that question better than you just did. You're so impressive, Megan.
Thank you so much.
Such a treat to see your heart and why you're doing this. And there's a reason, guys. There's a reason she has $500 million in assets. Okay,
right.
There's a reason, and I hope you're getting that memo. Anyway, what a treat it is to meet you and spend some time with you. And I'm really excited to see where you're at a year from now, because I just know it's going to be even more incredible. And you're a change for good. You're a force for good, and you're gonna change this world. You're already changing this world.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to meet you.
It's my pleasure and honor to be here. Thank you so much for pouring into my life.
You bet.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345 and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345.